Hi everyone. Today we're going deep into the understanding something that as confusing as it is destructive. The stark contrast of a narcissist. If you've ever been close to a narcissist, you know the roller coaster. One moment they're charming, the next they're cruel. They're victims and villains, confident and fragile. Understanding these contradictions isn't just intellectual, it's survival. It's how you break free from the trap. What is narcissism? Let's start with the basics. Narcissism is more than just arrogance. It's a personality pattern marked by grandiosity, an insatiable need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. A narcissist sees the world as a stage where they must always be the star, the center of attention. But underneath that loud, confident exterior lies deep insecurity. The narcissist's self-esteem is fragile, constantly threatened, and prepped up by manipulating those around them. This combination makes narcissists dangerous, not because they're always aggressive, but because they use emotional manipulation so well, you don't realize you're being controlled until it's too late. Now, the heart of our discussion, the contrast. Narcissists are full of contradictions. They embody extremes that confuse and trap their victims. Charm versus cruelty. At first, they're magnetic, charming, attentive, even loving. This is the famous love bomb phase. They make you feel special, seen, like you're the only one who truly understands them. It's intoxicating. But then the mask slips. Suddenly, warmth turns to coldness, kindness to criticism. The cruel side emerges, gaslighting, insults, neglect. This rapid shift keeps you off balance, desperately trying to recapture the charm that hooked you. Why? Because control thrives in chaos. When you're confused, you're easier to manipulate. The charm is the bait, the cruelty is the trap. Victimhood versus perpetrator. Narcissists love to play the victim. They tell everyone how misunderstood, mistreated, or wrong they are. The victim narrative draws sympathy and shields them from accountability. But behind the scenes, they're often the abuser, the ones causing the pain, chaos, and harm. They blame others for their mistakes and even their abusive behavior. They rewrite history to make themselves as innocent, turning you into the villain. This flip-flop forces you into defense mode. You feel guilty for doubting their truth and frustrated for your own pain. It's a power play wrapped in emotional blackmail. Grandiosity versus insecurity. On the surface, narcissists appear larger than life, boasting, bragging, acting entitled. They want the world to see them as perfect, powerful, and superior. But that grandiosity is a mask. Deep down, they're insecure, terrified of exposure and rejection. They fear being seen as ordinary or flawed. Every insult you throw at them or boundary you set feels like a threat to their carefully constructed image. This insecurity drives their need for constant validation and a ruthless defense of their ego. Dependency versus isolation. Narcissists need supply. Your attention, your admiration, your emotional energy. They feed off of it to maintain their self-image. But paradoxically, they isolate their victims. They cut off your support networks through manipulation, jealousy, or sabotage. They want you dependent on them alone, so they hold the power. This tug of war leaves you feeling trapped, needing them, but also wanting to run. They create the very loneliness they claim to despair. Why the contrast confuses and traps you, all these contradictions cause cognitive dissonance in victims. You struggle to reconcile the good and bad versions of your narcissist, and that confusion fuels hope that the charming side will return and last forever. This hope keeps you engaged in a toxic cycle of abuse, denial, and pain. In conclusion, so why is understanding these contrasts so important? Because knowledge is power. When you see these patterns for what they really are, manipulation tactics, you can start setting boundaries, protecting your peace, and healing. Remember, no one deserves to live in emotional chaos marked as love. Your freedom starts with recognizing the truth. Thank you for listening. Stay strong. Still I rise. Like, comment, and subscribe if this message resonated and you would like to donate to the Still I Rise movement. The Cash App is below in the description.